Okay, so I have another triangle craft from 1989. Another triangle UFO craft sighting. These are always fascinating. I got to see one time. I got to see my own black triangle. I saw a black triangle craft in the early '90s. It was early to mid '90s. Could have been around like '94 or something, maybe something like that. 93, 94 might somewhere around in there maybe. Um, but I got to see one. It was in Ohio, Akron. Well, it was Medina County actually. It was Medina County um, area. But yeah, I got to witness it for a long time too. Strange thing about mine, real quick before we get into it, is at first, and I've heard of this. I've heard of sightings like this before. I just got done with a triangle sighting, um, that where the triangle is like lit up. Well, at first the triangle I saw looked like a bright light. It was like a bright yellowish orange light, I would say. It was the light around it, surrounding it, was so bright. It looked like a big like globe of light. And then and it followed us home. And then we got home, the light it hovered over our house. Well, not hover, but like it was kind of like gliding slowly. I don't think the one I saw ever like stopped. It would go slow and then faster, I guess. Like it would like glide slowly and then it would accelerate, but like there was absolutely no sound. I kept listening for the sound, the one that I saw, and there was nothing. But the one I saw, it would turn its lights. The bright light that was like all around it, it turned off, and it never did come back on after the very beginning that I saw it. And and so the lights turned off, and then like these fainter lights would be on it. Like I believe there was a either yellow or white on the. It was either yellow or white on the ends, like the tips of the triangle, and then like red in the center. It was something like that. It could have been the red on the tips and like with the white or yellow in the center too. I actually don't quite remember, but it was something like that. But anyway, a lot to that. I made a video on it, and I've talked about it a few times in some other videos as well. So let's get into this here. The triangles are really strange. There's a big difference between triangle UFO craft and like like planes that may resemble a triangular shape. Like they just the triangle UFO craft have very different mannerisms to distinguish it from like any known man-made like jet or plane, like including hovering and things like that. So this is from Banning, California, 1989. This was seen for 30 minutes. That's a long time. Number of observers were 2. So the synopsis is: my son and I saw 2 triangular craft hovering about 100 feet above the roadway. Wow. The 2 objects were hovering approximately 100 feet in the air and were absolutely silent. We could see the entire shape was made up of rectangular pieces with something that looked like rivets holding them together. There was a huge white light in the center, and the light came straight down without diffusing outward. Huh. Wow. The objects were black. So I think I come across like the black triangles more often than any other like color or they're most of the time I think they're black, aren't they? But not all the time. Sometimes they're like light. They're like all lit up and sometimes there are other colors as well. One of the objects was a little higher than. Oh yeah, they saw two triangles, didn't they? Or two objects. One of the objects was a little higher than the other, but close to it. I estimate the size to be about the size of three small fixed winged aircraft. Okay. Although we were about 1/4 of a mile from the Interstate 10 highway, right next to the Banning Airport, all the ambient sounds disappeared. We were afraid to start our vehicle and sat there watching about 1 block away from the two objects. They're pretty close. All of a sudden, both craft went upward. The lights on both craft went out, and without a sound, disappeared into the sky. I mean, that's how a lot of these triangle sightings go. I was 42 years old, and my son was 14. I had just picked him up from Little League practice. I first noticed the light when I was backing out of my driveway to pick him up. What did I just say? Now, what did I just say in my story previously? That they saw like a light, or that I saw a light first when we were driving back home. I lived about 1 1/4 mile north of the airport at that time and noticed the light. So this reminds me of the one I saw, actually. But I didn't see two, I just saw one. Um, Jesus. So mine didn't hover, but like I said, mine didn't hover, but they just were like gliding. It was gliding like slowly across the sky. And sometimes the lights would go off, and then sometimes like dimmer lights would come on mine. But I mean, this sounds very similar to what I saw. This is 1989, Banning, California. So as always, leave your thoughts and comments on this incident below. Anything you would like to add? Have you ever seen a triangular UFO craft? They're pretty interesting. Kind of scary, too. Um, Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be back with more UFO content soon.